Alex Hernandez is hot. Oh my God, I loved this. I loved it. So Alex Hernandez, who's as fun as anybody there is to watch. That's not always a word that you got to use. You could say exciting, or you could say durable. There's all sorts of words. He's fun, man. Alex Hernandez is coming to fight, and he does not give a damn. Okay. He is not on the main card. He's fighting Saturday. He's not on what he is declaring as the main card, and he's pissed. He called it disrespect. Now, I only love it because your placement on the card trumps everything else. It doesn't matter if there's a title fight, if it's the co-main event and you're the main event. Your ranking, I don't care. Where you want a card matters. I love that Alex spoke up. Now, I had to correct him just a little bit. One thing that nobody understands, and it never gets billed this way, but there's 2 shows happening on Saturday. So there's actually 2 main events. One will be on ESPN, and then you have a whole nother show just happens to be following it in the same arena. And that's what we're calling the main card, and that's what Alex is featuring. There's actually 2 co-main events. One is going to take place in front of the world on ESPN, and then there's another one on pay-per-view. And most guys don't understand, and I don't care that Alex doesn't understand. I want Alex to know, because I really like Alex, that he is not being insulted and he isn't a feature bout and everybody's going to see him fight. The other side is cards like that. It can't just all be top-heavy. There's always a card on the prelims, in this case it's Alex's, that is much better and sought after than one of the fights on the main card. They flip-flop them. They flip-flop them to make sure, because they have 2 shows. They see it that way. Alex is not being insulted. Alex is being featured. And this is a little bit different. When I was still competitive, we had the Fox days. But we all wanted to fight on Fox, not pay-per-view at that time. Just because the sponsorships were bigger, because more people were going to see it. So, yes, you want to be featured. Yes, you want to be on the main card. Screw who your opponent is. Screw what's on the line. And screw what the rankings are. In comparison, I love that Alex gets that. I love that he's fighting for his spot. I love it because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I love it because I don't know anybody fighting on the undercard except Alex Hernandez, because he's the only one that made something interesting of it, even if it's his displeasure. He's doing everything right. But he's not in as bad of a spot as he thinks it is. And I will tell you, even now, pay-per-view is not king. Once a year, ABC. That's the one you want to be in. You guys remember Paulo Costa was offered that spot and turned it down? Thought it was an insult? And I think he misunderstood. Being from Brazil, and you hear about pay-per-view and you hear about ESPN, but maybe he didn't know about the American broadcasting system. It's one of those things. So they brought in Cater and they brought in Max. Both Cater and Max are now only main eventers. They're only main eventers because they built stardom. Doesn't matter if you won it or you came in with the silver medal that night. You were in front of the world on ABC. So there's just a little bit of a misunderstanding there. But I'm okay with that. I don't really want to correct him. I like Alex as is. Pissed off Alex, I like a little bit more. Fire under his ass, thinks he's being disrespected. There's a few motivations in life. That one right there is probably king. If you think you're losing face or you think you're being disrespected, money will not make that go away. Extra sponsorship won't make that go away. Having a chip on your shoulder is a very helpful thing as you're going into a cage fight. Alex, the only person on the undercard to bring any attention to that program, which is a show in and of itself. Our media does a terrible job of explaining this. Because it's all one night in front of the same audience, they act as though it's one show and everybody's... There's not. There's two shows. One's going on the worldwide leader. One is going to be done in the digital space. But there's 2 shows. Alex is featured. Don't tell him. Nobody tell him. Let him stay pissed off. But now we have an extra reason to make sure we watch the undercard.